So nothing excites me as much as having this chat together with you. For me, I look forward to this moment. I look forward to this to this time together where we get to explore the things that make us excellent, the things that make us tick, the things that make us accomplished, and the things that make us fulfilled. And I hope that you enjoy this journey as well. I hope I'm not enjoying it alone. I would love us to pray as we get into this, because one thing that I know for sure is you can never divorce God from purpose, because He's the beginner of purpose, He's the beginner of excellence, and He's the beginner, the author and the perfecter of our faith and everything that we know. So God, we commit this into your hands, this chat into your hands, that as we have this beautiful chat, that together we'll be able to not sink, not survive, but we'll be able to thrive, that we'll be able to flourish, that will be like trees that were planted by the waterside, that can bear fruits in their own season, and that their greens will never, 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 never go dry. So we thank you, because this has come to ignite a passion in us and to change us forever. In the name of God we've prayed. Amen. So if you've prayed that prayer together with me, you know that we are on a journey to raise trailblazers, to raise world changers, to raise gladiators, unicorns, people that have given their hearts to be able to be pathfinders. It is not an easy job to be leaders, to hold other people's hands. And that is why we have this session on this day, to make sure that we get to talk, to have a chat, and a very frank chat. And today, I want us to talk about excellence. I want us, because excellence to me, while I was thinking about it, and one of the things that I have so much decided to figure out or to work towards, to nail this year, is excellence. Because I know that excellence is an attribute that God lives by, that He's an excellent God. How excellent is His name, okay? And when we add excellence to what He has called us to do, to our work, to our job, to our callings, to our purpose, to our abilities, our potential, because it's not enough to have potential. It's not enough to have a calling. It's not enough to have a job. It's not enough to even have a marriage. It's not enough if you cannot attach excellence to it. It's just not enough. And just like I say that it's an attribute of God, I believe that God helps us be excellent, and He calls upon us to be excellent, to not be mediocres. But because when He mentions and says that you will be the heads and never the tails, what does that tell you? It shows you that God wants excellence, okay? He wants excellence, that you will be above and not beneath, okay? That He wants you to be established, that He will get our feet, He will get us out of the muddy clays, the muddy clay, and put us and establish us on a firm ground. Because what does the excellence do? It establishes you, okay? And we will talk about the benefits of excellence, but I just need us, there's a quote I read somewhere some time back. I don't remember exactly, but I'm going to paraphrase it. It said that if you are an ordinary talent, if you have ordinary talent, okay, or like no more talent, like you're not extraordinarily talented, but if you have ordinary talent and you couple that, or you join that to extraordinary excellence, that your life is going to be 1,000 times or 1,000,000 times better than one that has extraordinary talents, but they attach ordinary excellence to that extraordinary talent. I hope that you have understood it very well. I'll say it again. I'll paraphrase it again. That if you have normal, you are a normal person. Let me say, anyone in the world will say, because we classify a lot and we understand things in clusters, we understand things in statuses, we understand things in categories, and so we tend to categorize a lot, like middle class, like the upper class, like the lower class. We like using the ABCDs, and we say that the AB and then the CD and then the E and all that. We like categorizing things. So let's say that there is an upper class, there is a middle class, and there is a lower class. class. Now, you could be in talent or in gifting that you are the lower class or you are the middle class. Like, you are there. You're not extraordinarily talented. Now, if you get that person who is in the lower class or in the middle class, and you attach extraordinary excellence, because excellence is work, and it takes work to be excellent. That's why even the Bible talks about that faith without works is dead. Okay, so that means you yearning, because so many people yearn for excellence, but they never attain the excellence because they stop thinking, just at thinking, but they never go ahead and work towards excellence. Okay, so that mediocre person, that middle class person, that lower class person adds or attaches excellence, attaches hard work, attaches consistency, attaches the persistence, attaches. The moment they attach that, they are bound to be extraordinary individuals, accomplish more, be more, and do so much more than the ones that we were like, oh man, they have high talents, they're in the high class, the upper class, and we're like, you know, they're going to make it. There's a way we predict. We look at people and we predict where they are going. Because they are super talented, we think they are going to end up so well. But because they're super talented does not say that they should not go by the principles. Remember, I usually tell us that when you break the principles break you. Because God cannot be mocked, that you only reap what you have sowed. When you sow hard work, when you sow consistency, when you sow showing up, when you sow, because what is excellence? Excellence is doing the best that you can in the season that you are in with the resources available to you. That is excellence. I could have redefined it or changed it, because maybe when you look when you look it up in your dictionaries, it's going to sound different. But go with me, please. Go with me. Don't lose me, and I don't want to lose you. Excellence is doing the best that you can in the season that you are in with the resources available to you. Because so many of us, we procrastinate a lot, so we think we will do the best that we can tomorrow. We don't do it today, so we will do it tomorrow. Then you're not being excellent. Procrastinators, not excellent at all. Okay? And doing the best that you can. There are people who under-deliver at so many fronts. Like, they're not giving it their best. They're just doing the basic, the basic, the lowest form. They're just lifting their finger to do what, not what they can, okay, but they're doing the bare minimum. That does not bring excellence. And then, with the resources available, we're not saying go and borrow resources, go and buy resources, because then some of us will say, but excellence is expensive. I will tell you, excellence is not expensive. Excellence is the cheapest to do, but the hardest to do. I hope you understand the difference. The cheapest to do, but the hardest to do, because you are not required to have anything extra on you in order to be excellent. You can do your best in the season you are in with the resources that you have available right now. You don't need any addition in order for you to be excellent. So you realize it's not about who is the most talented. Even the Bible talks about it and says that the race is not to the swift, that food is not to the strongest, but chance happens to all. God gracious. I just hope, I don't know, I feel this is really, really powerful, that if we can be able to tap into this power and know that chance happens to us all, that there is no segregation about the allocation of chance, the allocation of grace, the allocation of power, the allocation. There is nothing like discrimination. Like, it happens to us all. So that means, therefore, I don't think I prepared to say all these things, but they're just coming to me and they're so sweet to think about, that excellence is a choice. That excellence is a decision. That when, and I refer to the Bible because this is the book that I read the most and I love the most, that choose life, that the power of life and death is right under your tongue. That choose life, that you may have life, that not just you having life, but your descendants. And it goes ahead to even say that we've given you two options, but we have gone ahead to tell you that choose life. So even if excellence is a choice, if excellence is a decision, that means it's within our power to be excellent. And you can choose right now and say, I choose to be excellent for the remaining time of the year. I choose to be excellent for the rest of my life. Because it is a decision that I have to make, and it is not dependent on anything else. It's only dependent on the decision that I make and the actions that back up my decisions. Because sometimes decisions are not enough on themselves, on their own. Decisions go hand in hand with actions. That I have decided that I'm going to change the way I eat. That I have decided I'm going to change how I work, how I show up. I've decided I'm going to change. So that means change has action to it. Okay? So if excellence is a decision, that means excellence is not an emotion or a fleeting feeling. It's not something that you would want to feel, because most of our emotions, not even just emotions, actually emotions and feelings, we cannot control. No, we just learn to regulate if we get the tools to regulate, but we do not control feelings. For example, if I told you to be happy right now, and I just said, go ahead and be happy, you realize that you can try to mimic a smile. You can try to pretend that you're even smiling, because maybe the only sign for us to know that you're happy is a smile, but a smile does not necessarily mean that you're happy. So that means the state of your mind, the state of your heart is going to be totally different. It is not happy. So even when you force a smile, we can tell a fake smile. We can know that this smile is actually fake. Okay? Because my end point in this is I want us to be able to attach excellence to our abilities, to our potential, to our calling, to our purpose, to our jobs, to everything, to our leadership, excellence to our leadership, as in everything you seek to do. Even the Bible talks about it, that do it with all your might. With all your might. That means that even God has a requirement, like he needs something from us that we will do with all our might, because he knows that if you do it with all your might, you will concentrate, you will focus, you will give it your energy, you will do everything in your power right now to make sure that you nail it. And that is excellence. That everything you find to do, everything. If your hands find something to do, do it with all your might. So that you don't have the regrets of, maybe I didn't give it enough attention. And that is why I usually tell people that when you're dealing with marriage, it's different from a relationship. With a relationship, we can tell you if something is not going right, you have a chance to run out, to walk away. You have a chance to just get out. You have a chance to close it down. With a marriage, you need tools to be able to handle it well, to negotiate, that even when it fails, you do not point a finger at yourself and say, I am the one that failed. I didn't show up. I didn't do things to the best of my knowledge. That even excellence, the reason as to why I'm talking about excellence today is that you will even attach it to your marriage. That you will attach it to your child upbringing, that you will attach it to your friendships, you will attach it to everything. But for me, more than anything today is your ability, your calling, your purpose, the things that you are meant to do in this world. Okay? So we figured it out and say that if you're very talented and you don't have excellence attached to your talent, you are nothing. You are going to end up nowhere. Okay? And we said that excellence is doing your best, doing everything to the best of your knowledge, doing your best in the season you're in with the resources that you have. Do not wait to get any resources from anywhere. That is why you can't point a finger at anyone for not being excellent and just say, you know what, I'm not excellent because my parents did not, I'm not a planned kid. They didn't plan for me. They just gave birth to me. I was an accident. They didn't even plan for me. Yes, they didn't plan for you. You have grown. You are above 18 right now. You are above 20, or you're above 30, or you're above 40. So must you forever point at your parents and say they didn't plan for you? That is excuses, okay? And you cannot be successful if you're still having excuses in your mouth. Okay, so if you want to be excellent, that means we have said in the season that you are in. So don't point at the past and say, you know, things are not working out, or I am not able to do this because of what happened 10 years ago, of what happened 20 years ago. Those are excuses. We have said, do your best in the season that you are in right now. I'm not going to ask for 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I'm asking, what are you doing right now? What are you doing with yourself right now in this season with the resources that you have available? And some of you will say, oh, but I don't have resources. Some of us think money is the only resource. Money is not the only resource. And it doesn't take you being wealthy or rich, filthy rich, in order to accomplish certain things in the world. Hard work does not call for you being rich. You showing up, you putting one foot in front of the other, you making decisions to be organized, you making decisions to wake up early, you making decisions to read books, you making decisions to audit your friends, the friendships that you have around you, you making decisions to go and apply for a job. What resources do you need? So you see, with the resources available, that you are the greatest resource that God ever needs. If he's teaming up with you, he doesn't need anything else. Everything else is background noise, just like they say. But that means you are the biggest resource, okay? The biggest resource. You have time. Time is one of the biggest resources. You have humans, mentors, people that can be able to hold your hand. You have, human resource is the biggest resource in the world. So you don't need money. You don't need a yacht, an aeroplane. You don't need anything. All you need is the things that God has put into your vicinity, into your proximity, to be able to use them so well, to subdue. That is why this year, we're talking about more of upgrading, more about dominion, because you must be able to dominate in your industry, where God has positioned you, in your job, in your marriage, to dominate, okay? And that means you must be able to dominate over yourself. I think I said that at the beginning of the year, that when I discovered that I am the common denominator in every year that I have ever lived. That means those years didn't have a problem. I had a problem. So if I was not successful, if I didn't make it, if things were not well, that means I did not dominate over myself that much. So that means if you dominate over yourself, is you demanding excellence from yourself. Okay? So we said excellence is not a feeling. It is a decision that you make, and a decision that you can make right now to make sure that you change your life and you change it for good. Okay? And we said you can't just fake things. No, we don't want to live fake lives. We want to live lives that are on a growth trajectory. We want to live life in its authenticity. We want to live life in its realness. We don't want to pretend anywhere like certain things are happening for us and yet they are not happening for us, okay? We want to be deeply grounded in authenticity, okay? And we said you can't control your decisions because it's something that you decide. You just decide. You can control your decisions. You can say, starting today, I am going to fast. Starting today, I'm going to read 2 books every month or 1 book every month. Starting today, I'm going to write down a list of people that I think I need to collaborate with, that I need to work with, that I need to consult, I'm going to write that. Let me tell you, if you did that alone this year and you just put down the number the names of people that you feel, if I got in touch with these people, I will glean, I will have knowledge, I will learn from them, and my cup will be filled, and I'll be able to do extraordinary things this year. And then you go ahead into executing. You call, you schedule the meetings, and you're like, if I do one thing this year, let me just write down the people that I need to collaborate with, the people that I need to work with, to consult from, that people that I need to learn from. So you realize that decisions are made every microsecond in this world. So that means you can control your decisions. The only thing that people fail to control about decisions is every decision has a prerequisite, or it has a need, or it has an expectation, and that expectation is backing it up with actions. For example, you can say, starting today, I am going to live an organized life. You wishing it, that is a wish. A decision, however, is when you make the decision and then you back it up with actions and go ahead and actually organize your closet, declutter your closet, decongest, do everything that you need to do in order to get the work done. So that means you have to have excellence. Cannot be excellence without actions. When you say you want to be excellent, that means you are showing up on time. You want to be excellent, that means you're communicating precisely and very clear. That means you want to be excellent, you are executing, and you have a bulletproof execution plan. You are a strategy in order to get to where you want to get. So you realize that you can control your decision. I don't want to waste too much time regulating your feelings and what, because again, that's not going to help you to do what you are supposed to do right now in this season of life and with the resources that you actually have. Okay? And there's something that I mentioned some time back, and I would want to borrow it a bit and fix it here, because I talked about us being able to change, that we cannot change our destinies in just one go. You know, like you're here and you're like, I have changed my destiny all of a sudden. Because of the decisions that we make, we are able to, over time, change the decisions. But now that over time, because we can't change overnight, we can change our direction. And that is what decisions do. Decisions are masters of changing direction. That, you know what, I was facing this side, but I'm going to make decisions slowly by slowly, and I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to change, and I will find myself at a totally different destination. So you cannot just say, you know what, I'm changing destination all of a sudden, I'm changing where I want to go all of a sudden, and all of a sudden I am going to end up there, while I am still looking at where, or facing wherever I'm facing, and I'm still taking that direction. So do you see that? You will be lying to yourself that, oh, I'm changing where I'm going. Let me just give you a vivid example, that you are going to Entebbe, and all of a sudden you're driving, heading to Entebbe, and then you say that, you know what, I've changed my mind, I'm going to Jinja, but you are still driving towards Entebbe. That's not going to happen. What decisions do is, you make an about turn slowly, you change until you find yourself driving towards Jinja, because you set your mind to arrive in Jinja. So you're like, I'm going to change my direction, and then I will change my destiny. We're still on this journey, and I'm giving you just a few seconds, okay? Just a few seconds to be able to breathe, to be able to internalize, to be able to think through, and to be able to master what we've talked about. I don't want us to be in a hurry, because this is a growth journey that we are on, and a growth journey. Growth is not something that happens at a go. Just like I said, you do not change your destiny or your destination just at a go, just like that. But you make decision, calculated decision after decision, another decision on top of that, and another decision on top of that. And if all those decisions are excellent and they're taking you to excellence, that means you are able to reach the destination that you envisioned, and you're like, okay, I really wanted to get to this place where I am happy, where I'm wealthy, where I'm practicing my passion and my purpose, where lives are being changed, where I've held so many people's hands, where, as in, you can even be able to tell by the decisions that you make, you're able to tell feel that I am coming closer and I am getting closer to the place that I want to be able to get. But all that comes down to one thing: decisions. You cannot change your destiny overnight, but you can change your direction. And this is also vivid in ships, because when I think I've had so many of those stories of the sailors and what, and I think we've watched so many movies, but you realize they tell you that if you go off the radar, even if it's just by micro, I don't know what they measure that in distances and what, but if you veer off just in micro, tiny measurements, okay? If you veer off, you will find yourself at a totally different destination that you planned out to be. That is why they're very careful. That is why they will have a compass. That is why they will have all those maps. That is why they will have, that is why you cannot be a captain just overnight, okay? By the time they trust you enough to steer that boat to the right destination, that means they know that you have the capacity, you have the potential, the knowledge to tell that if we are sailing in a storm, if there's it's like even the plane, okay? If we are flying and there's turbulence, okay? If we are flying and even if I just change direction just a little bit, I'm going to find myself at a totally different destination, and maybe where there is no airport for me to even land, okay? So you realize that decisions are very, very, very crucial, but we can only achieve this when we back it up with actions and knowing that we can change the direction very slowly, and in the end we can change our destination. The destination that we want to arrive at is where excellence is is dominating, okay? We want to be excellent human beings, excellent leaders, excellent pastors, ministry leaders, excellent CEOs, excellent world changers. That is who we want to be. So take a few seconds, come back, let's finish this conversation.